Good evening, everyone. You're listening to Red Pill 78. I am the corruption detector, and this is your Red Pill News. We've got quite a lot of news to get through today. We've got an excellent clip of President Trump talking about the situation at hand that we're dealing with. All of this craziness going on with the Dems. It looks like the investigation by U.S. Attorney John Durham has found something significant, as we all knew he would, and that's being reported by the mainstream media. So you know those people are either trying to signal their handlers or they're getting extremely nervous. Also, Rand Paul has blasted Senator Lindsey Graham for making countless baseless and empty promises to back up the president. No investigations on Ukraine or any of that stuff. Lindsey Graham, where are you? Also, we need to know if President Barry Obama was one of the 38 identified individuals in the State Department report that was just released. We're going to talk about that. Also, the Clinton Foundation. They were involved with bilking $130 million from Australia after the 2016 election. Also, looks like Jussie Smollett is going to see the inside of a courtroom. That lawsuit by the city of Chicago against Jussie is being allowed to proceed. And one more thing from the lawless Democrats, they're no longer allowing the Republican lawmakers to see the transcripts from the fake impeachment hearings. And finally, a formerly, extinct animal has been found and verified to be alive in the wild. Good news today to end it. So everybody sit back, relax, grab your popcorn, and we'll be right back after a quick word from my sponsor. When Noble Gold released the solid silver Trump 2020 Freedom Coin, they had no idea how successful President Trump would be or how much interest there would be in these coins. Now, 3 years later, the Commander-in-Chief has shown himself to be a rare leader of courage who follows through on his promises. And over at Noble Gold, they sold so many coins they had to make a second pressing. As a result, and by popular demand, they are now releasing this stunning, brand new Commander-in-Chief design to the world. This coin is highly unusual, not just because it's struck from an ounce of real .999 fine solid silver, but because it is handcrafted in America. Not even because it is such an incredible value, but because of its astonishing design features. You should see the contrast between the gleaming silver of the background and the cleverly wrought matte of President Trump's profile and the American flag. It's truly breathtaking. This beautiful coin would grace the desk, display cabinet, or shelf of any patriotic American supporter of Donald Trump. Be the envy of your friends, or buy for them as well, and treat yourself to one of these fabulous souvenirs today. Go to TrumpCoin2020.com and use the code REDPILL78 to save $5 off per coin. This is a limited time offer, so make sure you get yours today. Go to www.TrumpCoin2020.com and use the code REDPILL78 to get $5 off per coin. All right, first up today from my good friend and fellow researcher Methods, breaking news, Sidney Powell just filed a Flynn reply in support of our motion to compel the government to produce exculpatory evidence, and they are working on a redacted copy that they can file publicly. More of this information is coming. We're definitely going to be keeping an eye on this story, guys. All right, and as promised, Methods has got a little clip here from Fox News in relation to the probe on the Clintons, the dossier, and Ukraine. President Trump is not letting this go, guys. Let's go ahead and take a look at this clip, and we'll be right back to talk about it.
Yeah, so, A.G. Barr is a career prosecutor. He's been someone who's held this office before. He knows how to investigate this very ethically and within the parameters of his office. I don't think that he's going to over-prosecute this, but I think he's going to find the truth. And so fact-finding and actually looking for the truth is what's really important here. And so I think that we'll get some answers. I hope we'll get some answers. And if Hillary Clinton is found to have committed corruption, which that's not just a common usage term, that has a specific legal definition, and that's really a category of crimes that really violate public trust and are unethical and have specific legal consequences. We could see Hillary Clinton indicted, and if she faces trial, if she is prosecuted and actually has a conviction or other type of plea bargain, we could actually see Hillary Clinton face jail time. And
Hillary Clinton facing jail time. Can you guys imagine? I know I can. It's what lulls me to sleep every night. Now, on the note of what Durham and Barr are doing, apparently DOJ officials are talking to the mainstream media. NBC News had a story that just came out late last night, and it sounds like U.S. Attorney John Durham has found something significant in his deep state investigation, and critics should be careful what they say. Now, U.S. Attorney General William Barr reportedly has significantly expanded his probe into the origins of the Russian collusion hoax investigation. The Gateway Pundit reported on October 8th that U.S. Attorney John Durham has recently expanded his probe into the Obama administration spying on candidate Donald Trump. And Durham is now looking at evidence up until the launch of the Mueller special counsel investigation. NBC News reported Monday that U.S. Attorney John Durham has found something significant and that critics of the investigation should be careful. Now, NBC said specifically, the prosecutor conducting the review, Connecticut U.S. Attorney John Durham, has expressed his intent to interview a number of current and former intelligence officials involved in examining Russia's efforts to interfere in the 2016 presidential election, including former Clowns in America director John Brennan and former director of national intelligence James Clapper, Brennan told NBC News. Now, Durham has also requested to talk with clown analysts involved in the intelligence assessment of Russia's activities, prompting some of them to hire lawyers, according to 3 former Clowns in America officials familiar with this matter. And there is tension between the Clowns in America and the Justice Department over what classified documents Durham can examine, 2 people familiar with the matter said. With Barr's approval, Durham has expanded his staff and the time frame under scrutiny, according to a law enforcement official directly familiar with the matter. And he is now looking into conduct past Donald Trump's inauguration in January of 2017, a Trump administration official said. Now, guys, this is excellent news. Durham's investigation is expanding. Barr is on board with it. And as we just heard in that clip, Barr is going to allow this to be prosecuted fairly. And certainly, fairly means prosecutions in the presidential administration of former President Barry Obama. And that includes Hillary Clinton and her cronies. They are the ones who were behind the Russian collusion witch hunt. They are the ones that were working with the former government of Ukraine. They are the ones involved in massive corruption on a scale that we have known about for a very, very long time. But only now is it starting to come out into the public consciousness. It was necessary to feed this stuff out there, get people used to the idea, and then they can use it to put these people in jail for good. I want to take a look at a post here, and I want you guys to tell me what you think. All right, guys, I want you to take a look at this. This is a post from our favorite Anon, and it says here, this is from March 20th, the attempted coup treason opens the public door to more serious crimes. The pill must be easy to swallow. The lead-in. The public must be prepared for what is about to come. Clinton Foundation. Ooh, lots of stuff for the Clinton Foundation. And then don't forget, who are the puppet masters? House of Saud, Rothschild, Soros. Focus on those 3. Is the stage set for a drop of HRC, House of Saud, plus Soros, plus Clinton Foundation? All of these things. So right here, what do we have now? We have the attempted coup, the treason to remove President Donald Trump. This is now fully out in the public consciousness. NBC News reporting on the fact that John Durham has found something disturbing. This is the public door to more serious crimes, and we know what those crimes are. As our favorite Anon says, the pill must be easy to swallow. People have to understand how corrupt these people are. And when you lay the foundation, you set the stage, beginning with this coup, leading up to these more serious crimes, the lead-in is happening right now. The public must be prepared for what is about to come. That's what's taking place right now. This must have been a gradual process, you guys. People could not just have this terrible stuff foisted upon them. Otherwise, their brains would break. They might not have ever believed it. So this, my friends, is what we are seeing at this moment in time. That is why yesterday I said, do not lose heart. Do not lose faith, because we are witnessing the Great Awakening as we speak. Now, next, we've learned that the State Department's investigation into Hillary's private bathroom email server has come to a conclusion, and there were 38 individuals identified in that report on her emails. Now, the question is Barry one of those 38 individuals? Was Obama one of the individuals who violated government email regulations identified by the State Department, and if not, why not? We reported on October 18th that the State Department completed an internal investigation into Hillary's private email server system and cited 38 people for violations, and some of those people may face disciplinary action. Now, the Associated Press reported that the State Department determined that 38 people were culpable in a whopping 91 cases of sending classified material in emails that ended up on Hillary Clinton's private server. The department determined that those 38 people were culpable in 91 cases of sending classified information in messages that ended up in Clinton's personal bathroom email. The 38 are current and former State Department officials, but were not identified in the report that was sent to Congress this week. Now, the investigation covered 33,000 emails that Clinton turned over for review after her use of the private email account became public. The department said it found a total of 588 violations involving information then or now deemed to be classified, but could not assign fault in 497 cases. Now, the big question is whether Barry was one of those individuals noted for violating the law in communicating with Hillary using her off-site email server. We know from that journalistic organization WL that Barry had communicated with Hillary using a secret email address, and that was Bobama at Ameritech.com, also a non-secure email address. We also know that corrupt cop James Comey and his FBI removed Barry's mention from his announcement on Hillary's email abuses, and that Barry clearly knew that Hillary was using a non-governmental email account. And here is a tweet from Sean Davis, says that Barry knew about Hillary's secret email scheme because she emailed him using her private email address while in the territory of a foreign adversary. That finding was removed from Comey's statement exonerating Clinton. Now, we also know that Barry later lied about his knowledge of Hillary's secret bathroom server email account. Let's go ahead and take a listen to this clip.
President Obama speaking out on 60 Minutes about Hillary Clinton's email controversy.
Did you know about Hillary Clinton's use of private email server?
No.
While she was Secretary of State?
No.
Saying while it's been, in his words, ginned up for political gain, his former Secretary of State should have held herself to a higher standard.
It is important for her to answer these questions to the satisfaction of the American public, and they can make their own judgment. I can tell you that this is not a situation in which America's national security was endangered.
How could this be a situation where America's national security was not in danger when the Secretary of State of the United States of America was sending classified information vital to the national security of the country that we live in? How is it possible that the national security of this country could not have been put in danger when Hillary Clinton was sending and receiving classified information on an unsecured bathroom server in her Chappaqua home in New York? How is it possible that Hillary Clinton could not have told Barry that she was doing such a thing, especially when she was sending and receiving emails to his own non-governmental address, which included classified information and top secret government communications? The answer is it must have been. America's national security must have been put at risk by the behavior of Hillary Clinton and the former president of the United States. Now, in the letter to the Senate, the State Department provided the following description of the review that it had performed. The initial approach to the categorization of potential incidents was that the individual responsible for the introduction of classified information to the network, which was then transmitted outside of DOS control, would be assessed a potential violation, while individuals who simply forwarded that information would be assessed potential infractions. This provisional approach for assessing infractions was abandoned early in the process, however, as it very quickly became clear that it would be impossible to determine when an individual could reasonably be expected to know that content already on the system should have been classified by the originator. By the end of the process, APD was focused solely on the assessment of potential violations for individuals who introduced content which was assessed to have been classified at the time it was sent. Once the documentation was sorted, APD began to review the potential incidents by focusing first on those individuals who communicated most regularly with former Secretary Clinton, then on other individuals who were still DOS employees, and finally on individuals who were no longer DOS employees. These reviews were completed in July 2018. Now, the State Department says they looked at all emails first and individuals who sent them and then identified whether they were State Department employees past or present. The result shows as follows. They do not state whether the individuals were only State Department employees. Now, if the State Department performed an accurate review, they would have identified a Barry O. Bummer government account and also a Bobama@Ameritech.com account, which was also Obama's in their list of emails. Clearly, since these involved the president, they were classified. Now, let's hope the State Department performed an accurate review of Hillary's emails and that Hillary and Obama are both on the list. Let's hope all are held accountable. This would be real hope and change. Now, unfortunately, due to the fact that the State Department, by and large, is still full of Obama and Hillary holdovers, people who are deeply embedded in the resistance and who are not interested in helping out with the America First agenda, I find it highly unlikely that this email investigation is going to lead to any fruit, which is going to result in prosecutions for Hillary or Barry. However unfortunate, these people definitely deserve to be prosecuted and brought before the court. It's not going to be this that does it. It will, however, be the coup and the treason that is currently ongoing and that President Trump and his people are unraveling and bringing to the public consciousness. Now, down to Australia. The Clinton Foundation bilked $130 million from them after the 2016 election directors fled the country from headquarters housed in a shack on a dirt road outside Melbourne. The Clinton Foundation reportedly milked over $130 million from Australians over the past couple of decades. After the 2016 election, Clinton Foundation directors in Australia bailed and left their Australian headquarters, a shack on a dirt road outside Melbourne. An internet sleuth posted an incredible story regarding the Clinton Foundation in Australia. The story is another shocking example of the corrupt sham that the Clintons used to pillage individuals and countries around the world. The story begins with the author noting the connections between Alexander Downer and Spygate. A few weeks later, around May 10th of 2016, Papadopoulos met former Australian Foreign Minister Alexander Downer at the Kensington Wine Rooms in London and, according to Downer, told him that Russia had dirt on Clinton. Downer said he passed that information on to Australian intelligence agencies, and that information eventually set the official Russiagate investigation in motion. But Papadopoulos insists he never talked about Mifsud's dirt information during his one-hour meeting with Downer, although he does admit passing that information on to Greek Foreign Minister Nikos Katsias on May 26, 2016. Papadopoulos' book claims Downer was aggressive and recorded their conversation, which Downer denies. The phone comes out again. He must have grabbed it and held it at least 4 times. He is so aggressive, so hostile. I believe Australian and UK intelligence were involved in an active operation to target Trump and his associates. In an oddly disengaged 30-minute podcast from July of 2019, Downer said his meeting with Papadopoulos was suggested by the Israeli embassy in London. While rudely eating, grunting, snorting, and tapping what sounds like glasses and spoons, Downer frequently indulges in strange hypothetical musings about whether what he had just stated as fact might actually not be true. I wasn't recording him. I wouldn't, as a diplomat, record meetings that I had with people. That would be very unprofessional. But I suppose logically, if I did record it, I'd have a copy of the recording. So everything he said would be on the record. But no, we didn't have a recording of it. If I was playing with my phone during the meeting, it would have been because I was checking my SMS messages and my emails, which I don't think you should do at a meeting, but I occasionally do. He claimed it was just a friendly chat with another official who worked at Australia House at the time, present, and laughed at the idea that he might be involved in a grand conspiracy. This sort of idea that there's kind of ASIS, ASIO, MI6, MI5, FBI, clowns in America, Ukrainian government, or something like that, some conspiracy to bring down the Trump administration, that this is treason, that I should be in Guantanamo Bay. I mean, it's a little bit sad that people take this sort of thing seriously. Wow, he really called it. I think he's been paying attention. Perhaps I am a little bit sad. In this article, I will examine what we know about Australia's involvement in the Russiagate saga. The Australian media do not seem to be very interested. According to the report, Alexander Downer of Spygate fame kicked off Australia's giving to the Clinton Foundation. On 22nd May 2006, Australia's Foreign Minister Alexander Downer and Bill Clinton signed a $25 million memorandum of understanding, marking the first round of Australian taxpayer donations to the Clinton Foundation. Downer now distances himself from that donation. I didn't make a donation. I was the foreign minister, and AusAid entered into a contract with the Clinton Foundation. I didn't instruct the contact. I was just the minister who did the signing ceremony. Well, there he is with old Billy. Now, Australia donated millions to the Clintons. After losing power in 2013, Australian Prime Minister Julia Gillard became chairman of the Clinton-affiliated Global Partnership for Education in 2014. She promised she would loudly barrack from the sidelines if Hillary ever ran for president, then personally endorsed Clinton's candidacy in April 2015. Gillard even appeared in a Clinton campaign video, attended the DNC convention on the 25th of July 2016, and wrote a New York Times op-ed urging readers to shame sexism by voting for Clinton. So much for staying on the sidelines. Total donations hit $130 million. In September of 2014, new Australian Foreign Minister Julie Bishop pledged 5 years of support for the Clinton Health Access Initiative, a sister organization of the Clinton Foundation. Total donations from Australian taxpayers hit $130 million, and the Aussies got nothing in return from the Clintons. What did Australian taxpayers get in return for these millions of dollars? Our Australian media are not even asking the question. Instead, it's left to bloggers like Michael Smith to point out that the Clinton Foundation headquarters in Australia is a suburban shack in outer Melbourne, and all the nominated directors have fled the country. That is very important to note. The Clintons were happy to take any money they could find from anyone or any country. The Clinton Foundation was their vehicle to do it. Wow, absolutely incredible that all it took was for the Clintons to go to a country, ask for the taxpayers' money to be funneled into their charitable organization, and then they did absolutely nothing with it. I would imagine if I was a leader in any type of government across the globe, if there was that kind of money going out of the taxpayers' pockets into any type of organization, you would want to get some type of return on investment, or at least reporting on exactly what that money was being used for. Instead, the government in Australia just handed money over to the Clintons, hundreds of millions of dollars, and the Clintons were happy to take it. Well, the good news, my friends, is that the days of the Clintons pillaging the world are done. Now, breaking news. Empire actor is going to be sued by the city of Chicago. A judge has refused to dismiss the lawsuit. A federal judge in Chicago on Tuesday refused to dismiss the city's lawsuit against actor Jussie Smollett, who claimed he was attacked by two white men in a hate crime. U.S. District Virginia Kendall's ruling will allow the city's lawsuit to try to recoup $130,000 the police department spent trying to get to the bottom of Smollett's claims. Smollett's lawyers argued that their client should not be forced to reimburse the city because he could not have known how much time and money police would spend investigating. Chicago police say their probe into the allegations that Smollett suffered a racist and homophobic attack that forced officers to file for nearly 1,900 hours of overtime. Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson said Smollett took advantage of the pain and anger of racism to promote his career. Sounds about right. Earlier this month, Abel and Ola Usundere, the two Nigerian brothers who were accused of attacking Smollett in a hate crime hoax, met quietly with a special prosecutor. Sources close to the case tell TMZ that Abel and Ola met with Dan Webb's team this week because the special prosecutor wanted to hear their full story, their version of Jussie's alleged attack. Our sources say that the brothers spent a couple hours each with the team's special prosecutor. The brothers were held by police and interrogated soon after the alleged attack took place in January, but they were quickly released as police shifted their attention to Smollett's involvement in allegedly staging the attack. The actor told police that the main attacker was wearing a ski mask that covered his entire face, with the exception of the area around his eyes, by which Smollett could tell the attacker was white-skinned, according to a lawsuit filed against Smollett by the city of Chicago. Smollett, who is a black man, allegedly hired the brothers, who are also black, to attack him in a hate crime hoax. To bolster his claim that the attackers were white, Smollett said the two men yelled racist and homophobic remarks, at one point invoking President Trump's signature slogan, "Make America Great Again," by saying this is MAGA country. Well, that story quickly fell apart. A Chicago grand jury indicted Smollett in March on 16 felony counts that he allegedly lied to police about being the victim of a racist and homophobic hate crime. Those charges came after he was arrested in February and charged with felony disorderly conduct for the allegedly false police report. But the Cook County, Illinois State's Attorney's Office last month suddenly dropped all charges and sealed the case. After reviewing all the facts and circumstances of the case, including Mr. Smollett's volunteer service in the community and agreement to forfeit his bond to the city of Chicago, we believe this outcome is a just disposition and appropriate resolution of the case, the office said in a statement. Smollett's lawyers claimed victory, saying in a statement that the actor was a victim who was vilified and made to appear as a perpetrator as a result of false and inappropriate remarks made to the public, causing an inappropriate rush to judgment. Now, we know that the truth of the matter is far, far different. Of course, the remarks were made to the public because Mr. Smollett was the perpetrator of a hoax, something that took the entire country by storm, rallied people up. It made people really, really start to get crazy on the streets. People were being accused of things that they hadn't actually done. People wearing MAGA hats were vilified and were looked at as the worst of the worst. You cannot take that back, Juicy Smollett. You cannot ever rectify that crime. Your absolute smearing of anyone who is interested in taking care of their own country. The slogan, "Make America Great Again," has absolutely zero hint of racism or discrimination, only that we want to elevate America to the greatest point ever in her history. And that includes making America great for every single citizen, every naturalized, natural born, every person who is a citizen of America. And by proxy, make it great for anyone who wants to come here legally as an immigrant. Well, if it wasn't bad enough that the Democrats are holding this sham fake impeachment inquiry, the lawless Democrats are no longer going to allow GOP lawmakers to view transcripts from those fake hearings. Speaker Pelosi and the lawless Democrats are running a historic scam on the American people. For the first time in U.S. history, Democrat leaders are running a sham impeachment that was never voted on in the U.S. House of Representatives. And they are holding the entire proceeding in a secret, secluded room away from public viewing and away from cameras. Democrats refuse to allow Republicans any consideration in the entire process. They will not allow Republicans to call any witnesses. Democrats are only leaking tidbits that help them to the media. And Democrats are not even calling on their main witness, a partisan, anti-Trump, clown in America officer who was spying on President Trump in the White House and who has no direct knowledge of the president's specific phone call to the Ukrainian leader. The leaker's only evidence is hearsay that has been already debunked by the released transcript of the call. And now this. Democrats are already losing their battle with the truth and with the public. Americans know they are hiding and lying. Every top swing vote state by wide margins do not approve of this sham impeachment process of President Trump. Democrats are so worried that they will not be able to control the narrative to their criminal operation that they are now refusing to allow Republican lawmakers to even view the transcripts from those sham impeachment proceedings. Representative Andy Biggs said, "The reality is when you close the doors, you're saying we don't trust anybody but us to get to the truth." And they're actually, the word came out tonight, they're not even going to let these guys, members of the committee, get access to the transcripts anymore. Laura Ingraham replied, What? Whoa, whoa, whoa. What are they doing that for? Why are they doing that? Representative Lee Zeldin chimes in and says they want to be able to prepare their report and they don't want to let us get the rest of the information out. So this is not a level playing field. These people are lawless, and using the words of our favorite Anand and our president, these people are sick. So let's go ahead and take a listen to the clip of these gentlemen here on Laura Ingram's program.
And then a lot of what they say, or in large part, is pretty favorable to Trump. Yeah. But then there'll be one thing that said, aha, see, they said, but that's the noxious nature, Congressman Biggs, of a secret proceeding.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So you get to cherry pick what you want out there to the public. Number one, that's a huge problem.
But they're saying you're just complaining about process because you guys don't have the facts on your side. That's what they say.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, the reality is when you close the doors, you're saying we don't trust anybody but us to get to the truth. And you know what? They're actually, the word came out tonight, they're not even going to let these guys, members of the committee, get access to the transcripts anymore. That's how objectionable this is.
What?
That's how closed this is going to be. And
whoa. What is the... What are they doing that for? Why are they doing that?
Well, they want to be able to prepare their report, and they don't want us to be able to get the rest of the information out. So this isn't a level playing field. It's not staffed up the same. We can't call witnesses who we want to call. And to your point about cherry picking off facts, when Michael McKinley, when he came to testify, and the news was talking about how he resigned in protest, he came in and testified. It was a transcribed interview, so I could share it. He was going to resign anyway. Retire in Q4 of 2019. And when Adam Schiff asked a leading question about how the State Department was getting worse under Pompeo, McKinley had to recast, that was the word that McKinley used, and talked about how great the State Department has gotten
supportive of Pompeo.
Under Pompeo.
Yeah. And their strategy is very clear. Once again, they realize they can't convince the American people in open, so they're going to do it in secret, and then they're going to leak, and they're going to lie. And they're not even taking entire sentences. In some cases, they're taking pieces of a sentence, pieces of a text, and every day, every single day, we'll go in and hear this, much of it supportive of the president. The media then, it leaks to the media, and the next report is exactly the opposite.
I want to do this.
This is enraging. To think that these Democrats are so insecure about President Trump, about beating him in 2020, and about creating something that doesn't exist. They have to do it in a closed-door setting so that the only information we, the people, see, the only information now that apparently the Republicans on the committees are going to see, is cherry-picked from the information given to them by witnesses, which they just said most of it is favorable. President Trump has changed this country for good. President Trump has done nothing to warrant being impeached. And the Democrats are literally criminals running around the halls of Congress in Washington, D.C. These people need to be stopped. And I have every confidence in the world that President Trump and his administration are going to take care of this. But the American people needs to see just how unfair these Democrat lawmakers are. And this is how it's going to happen. All right, guys, the Democrats are panicking. They know that they can't win in 2020, and they know that they can't even hold impeachment hearings. That's why no one has voted on it. They know that John Durham and Bill Barr are zeroing in on the origins of this coup to remove President Trump. This treason committed against not only our duly elected president, but the people of the United States of America. Fear not, fellow patriots, we are witnessing the greatest unraveling of a political party in the history of our nation. Soon, these people will be paying for the crimes they've committed, and they will get exactly what's coming to them. All right, guys, that's all that I've got for you today. I want to thank everyone for joining me. As always, this has been Red Pill 78. I am the Corruption Detector, and this was your Red Pill News. Good luck, everyone, and God bless. Hey guys, it's Red Pill. I just wanted to say one more thing. Thank you very much to all my patrons. Thank you to everyone who supports this channel. If anyone wants to help out, there are links in the description of this video below. Please make sure to subscribe to my backup channels in case anything happens here. I will begin publishing there. And if you guys have any questions or tips for me, please send me an email at redpill78@protonmail.com. Also, don't forget to make sure that you have notifications turned on for this channel. When you go to my channel page, there is a little bell. Click that bell and choose all notifications. And if you don't have one already, go sign up on Twitter and follow me there and make sure that your notifications are on. Because even if you don't get a notification from YouTube, I always have a notification that goes out on my Twitter page that lets you know every time I put out a new video. I look forward to reading your messages. I look forward to getting the news to you on a daily basis. And I look forward to seeing you all again in the next episode.